Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana, wageni wakaribishwa. Kenya yetu hakuna matata.
This is the site of TAD Motors. The total area is about 16,000 square meters, and we have just finished building the perimeter wall. We have started building the first assembling hall. After beginning of next year, I think the whole site before is building, because we are not only going assembling, but we are going to manufacturing. So we need more space for manufacturing. But even we think this place isn't enough, we might need some more places. So with this place now, we're intending to do the first cars, and in the meantime, when we start building the other areas, we'll continue with assembling here and also that one. So that's it, and yeah, it's a nice place, very good area, and we hope to get more.
Locals have benefit, directly or indirectly, because of the labor. This company have been paid people salary which have never paid in Kenya, and give them lunch during the lunch hour. It's approximately they have been paying laborers 850, because of 700 it is for them for the salary, and 150 for lunch. And also for the experts, they have been paid 1,500, 1,200 according to the expectation. So we as locals, we have really benefited from this company.
Tessema, it's one of those situations where we're at a restaurant and I came across this very bubbly personality. We're literally sitting next to each other, and I thought, you know what, this is a guy that I could probably work with. And we started chatting at the restaurant, and then we switched business cards, and then I met him the next day. And then when he told me his story and who he was and his pure energy levels, if I'm being honest with you, I back people and I love concepts, but it's really the people is really what really interests me.
In the busy streets of Addis Ababa, among the Toyotas and Hyundais, a few cars stand out. They are Awash, Abay, and Tekeze, named after Ethiopia's great rivers. But these are not imports. They were born here, in Ethiopia, through the vision of one man who dared to dream that his country could build its own cars.
I was exporting used cars from Holland to Ethiopia, as all diasporas, most of diasporas were doing. I was doing a lot, but I was just talking with my friends, and I said, no. And instead of sending all these old rubbish cars, why don't you go back and try to assemble new cars? So with that idea, the plan for Holland Car was started in 2004, January.
His story began far from Europe's industries. Born in Ethiopia, young Tadesse longed for higher education abroad, but living was never simple. His journey started on the Red Sea, aboard a ship owned by a family connection. He was not a professional seaman. He worked where he could, taking odd jobs on board, enduring long days and sleepless nights. For more than a year, he lived this hard life, clinging to nothing more than hope.
Actually, my dream was to set an assembling plant so that we don't have to import these old used cars. So that will be service assembling, and in the near future to set up, manufacture our own cars there, so that we will not be dependent on imported cars from other countries. And also, of course, bring the technology. Manufacturing is the engine of the economy in our developing countries. So if you want to develop your country, you have to go that way.
When the ship finally docked in Belgium, he immediately traveled to Holland. There, his true transformation began. He studied, trained, and worked, becoming a power electronics engineer. Surrounded by Europe's industry and technology, he built knowledge, skills, and networks. But even as he thrived, something deeper called him back, a desire to change his homeland. In 2005, Tadesse returned to Ethiopia, not just with ideas, but with financial backing from Holland, enough to ignite a dream, to establish Ethiopia's first automobile assembly company.
They give us about €1 million. That was a grant, it's not a loan. So with that, and the investment of the partners and my investment, we went back to Ethiopia to start the business. So it means that we didn't get any financial support or any loan from local Ethiopian to start the business. It's always brought from outside.
Holland Car was born. Its models carried Ethiopian pride in their names. Awash, Abay, Tekeze, rivers of strength and endurance. Durable, affordable, and built for local conditions, they were the first truly Ethiopian cars. Families bought them, drivers cherished them, and Addis Ababa's street began to carry not just cars, but confidence.
It was to show that we are able to do that, because at the end of the day, the car industry is not rocket science. If these things can be done in Europe, in China, in America, whatever, so why don't you do it back home? So I think that was my idea, and just to emphasize that it was assembled by Ethiopians locally. So I gave them local name to show that it was a big, not only for me, it was a big pride for a lot of people there, because they were surprised, because nobody was expecting that we were supposed to do, as we were the first car assembling plant in Ethiopia.
As Ethiopians, we take pride in seeing cars made right here in our country by our own professionals. People call us Abay when they get into the car, and they're often amazed to see that it's still on the road.
Innovation stretched further. Holland Car introduced the Ahadu bus, a name meaning unity. It was designed to carry people, connecting them as much as places. Even luxury models followed, proving that Ethiopia could compete with international brands. For a time, optimism grew. Ethiopia could be the Detroit of Africa.
Within the first 3 years, we were one of the highest taxpayers in Ethiopia. And within 5 years, we got the title Authorized Economic Operator with Gold status, which means in Ethiopia at that moment was the first 5 companies, which I was the first one, with a gold status. So that was a big achievement within 5 years. And, all my goods I can't bring them from the port freely, and I can do, and so I was doing real something good, because we are also doing some more things. Not only that, a social aspect, we're doing a lot of other things.
Dreams often collide with reality. Behind the pride of Holland Car lay mounting challenges. Ethiopia's financial system made growth nearly impossible. Foreign currency shortages delayed the import of essential parts. Banks were reluctant to lend. Interest rates were unbearable, and bureaucracy slowed every decision.
I was called Metic office and told to stop the bus and take it out of the street, because at that time it was giving free transport for people as testing, and take it from out of the road and stop it. Yes, and after that there was a lot of pressure on me to leave the country, and yes, anyway, I think it was more or less decided that the whole project of Holland Car must be stopped.
Holland Car had the demand, it had the talent, but it lacked the financial lifeline to keep its wheels turning. By the early 2010s, the company was drowning in debt. The assembly lines went quiet. Workers were sent home. Ironically, when Holland Car was declared bankrupt, it still possessed substantial assets, enough to recover and rebuild, but the financial support and institutional backing it desperately needed never came. And the man who once gave Ethiopia its first locally made cars was forced to leave, carrying both pride and heartbreak back to Holland.
It's not only, this vision, dream, which are closing, but it's also financially, all the things which are back there have been lost. Not only me, the customers, the government, the country, and me, everybody has lost.
But the road did not end. In Europe, Tadesse regrouped. He reflected and he realized the future would not be fueled by petrol, but by electricity. His journey took a new turn, this time to Kenya.
95% of the diaspora want to come back. Everybody is in his heart back home. Only that 5% because he cannot sustain or live here. So the only thing is convince them and back home.
With Tad Motors, he began building Africa's future in electric mobility, clean, green, and sustainable. His bold plan to manufacture EVs with up to 80% of parts produced locally. What Ethiopia could not sustain, Kenya was ready to embrace. Once again, his vision found fertile ground.
Really, since I've met Tessema, he's obviously introduced me to some very influential people. He himself is very well connected. And really, his concept of what he'd bring into Kenya, I personally believe Kenya's crying out for that, which is why there's been so much interest in his project.
The support I get now, it's very high. It's sometimes I think it's frightened me because now it's for us to I get all the support from anywhere. So it's now I have to deliver. So sometimes I wake up early in the middle of the night and say, wow, can it be going wrong?
Holland Car may be gone, but its legacy remains. The vehicles it produced still roll on Ethiopian roads. The workers it trained gained skills and pride. And young people who once saw those cars now believe in African-made solutions.
So we hope our company will benefit in the entire Kenya when we start assembling the vehicles here. So what I can say, my government to support our company. This is the first company in East Africa. So we are so glad, we are so happy.
Ethiopia had the chance to become a regional automotive hub, but bureaucracy and financial restrictions drained momentum. The dream slipped away, yet the dreamer himself never stopped. Today, in Kenya, he is proving once again that Africa can build, and this time in step with the future of mobility.
Bringing knowledge, and be open to entrepreneurs who want to do here the business and gives them the opportunity and be there when there is a problem and get them rid of bureaucracy and corruption. If these things are done, I think we'll grow. That's the way how China grew up. That's the way how Europe is doing that. Why not here?
1 month's road for Ethiopia to Holland, back to Ethiopia, and on to Kenya tells a story larger than himself. It is Africa's story of vision, obstacles, and resilience.
I mean, certainly very experienced what he's doing. We've obviously done quite a number of now presentations. And the one thing about Tessema, he does his research, okay? So even some of the very difficult questions, for example, batteries. So, batteries in terms of what he's doing here in Kenya is very topical, but he's got the solution. And the very fact that he's got a very strong background of delivering in Ethiopia, okay, which was a phenomenal success. He's bringing that intellect, that intelligence, and also he's a very strong team. I mean, you know, I've met his team, and I was nothing but impressed with the people that he's actually bringing to the company. The one thing I'd also say to you is he is incredibly good with networking and with people. So even, for example, in this factory, which he's building in Mamehu, he's already dealt with the local community, the local tribes. And one of the things that impressed me, which is a tiny thing, but it's very important, the workforce that he actually has got building his factory. He offers them breakfast and lunch. And I just think that's a lovely quality. So he's actually inducing real community spirit. I think that's really important.
I know Tadesse from Tad Motors already for 30 years. We work together in several projects, especially related to electric traction equipment. For all those years, he has been creative and insisting on realizing his goals. He doesn't get no for an answer.
The road ahead is long, but as Engineer Tadesse Tessema proved, with courage and determination, nothing is impossible.